Привет! Данный курс скачан с сайта SuperSliv.biz. На сайт ежедневно добавляются топовые материалы от крутых авторов и лучших онлайн-школ. Если вы житель России, то на сайт можно попасть, если включить VPN. Если все же вы не знаете, что такое VPN, или не хотите его использовать в работе, то на сайт можно попасть через актуальную ссылку. Она находится по адресу supersliv.co. Итак, резюмируем. Жителям России обязательно включать VPN для доступа к supersliv.biz. А те, кто не умеет или не знает, что такое VPN, используйте актуальное зеркало supersliv.co. Заходите на сайт удобным для вас способом и получайте крутой контент ежедневно.
In this video we need to talk about why local AI matters. And in order to do this, I want to show you the disadvantages of closed AI, but also the disadvantages of local AI. You have always a trade-off, but I do think that local AI has some really nice features. Let's just start with the disadvantages of closed-sourced AI. One of the biggest disadvantages is of course the data privacy risk. Data leaves your own system and is sent to external servers. This means that these AI labs, they can either train on your data, they can leak your data, maybe other people can even find your data, like publicly. Maybe you have a company and you have secrets in that company. Of course, it would not be nice if the secrets get trained into the AI model, or you get leaks. Or maybe you have like sensible data from your clients or something like this. You don't want to send them necessarily to the cloud. This simply means as soon as you come into ChatGPT and if you type in here stuff like whatever, this could be a secret from you, from your company, or maybe client data. This data will first of all get sent out to the cloud. There can be leaks, and also OpenAI will most likely train on this data. Of course, like if you have the stronger plans or some business plans, they simply tell you that they will not train on your data, but you can never be sure. OpenAI trains on, like, I think, nearly everything. And there are a lot of stories out there that OpenAI had some massive leaks. And the same thing is also true for the API. And don't worry if you don't understand the APIs yet. Basically, if you build your own application and you make API calls to OpenAI, OpenAI tells you that they will not train on your data, but you can never be sure. And data leaks are always a possibility. The same thing is true for diffusion models. Let's just say you create some pictures in Midjourney and you want to use them like for your marketing or something similar. If you come to explore, you will actually find a lot of other pictures that other people have made. And if you are in one of these cheaper plans, maybe other people see your pictures before you use them somewhere. And yeah, that's not really that nice. If you are in one of the stronger plans that cost a lot, they will not appear in this explore page. But still, you are never sure what Midjourney does with these things. You have also the possibility, of course, to upload pictures. And if you upload pictures, for example, from your face, Midjourney can train on this data. And this is true for every single LLM and every single diffusion model. If you upload sensitive data, pictures, videos, text, whatever, these AI labs can always train on your data and you are never sure, and data leaks are always possible. Then the next thing is of course the cost. You have ongoing fees for cloud services or API usage. If you have an abo into ChatGPT, you need to pay. If you use the APIs, you need to pay. And the cost can be also high. If you use the strongest plan from ChatGPT, these are $200 a month. If you also want to have cloud, $200. Grok, over $200. Then you add on Midjourney in the strongest plan on top, and sooner or later you are at $1,000 a month just in subscriptions. And then API costs come on top of this if you build your own applications. Also limited customizability. You have less control and fewer options for modifications. Of course, like you have the possibility to fine-tune your own models also in the API, but still you are heavily restricted. If you use open source models, you can use models that are completely unbiased and uncensored. So you cannot customize these closed source models like a lot, especially as soon as we talk about pictures. Then the next thing, dependency on internet connection. Of course, if you are not online, you will not have any access. Let's just say you don't have internet for 2 or 3 days. The models will be gone. You also have network latency. It is totally possible that you have slow responses to data transfer over the network. This also depends on your connection and a lot more. But you have the chance that the network latency is high, especially as soon as these AI labs roll out new features. In the first few days they are basically unusable. You are vendor locked in, of course. You are long-term dependent on external providers, and this is never ever cool. Let's just say you build everything on top of the Anthropic models, and sooner or later they go offline. This would be completely catastrophic. You have a lack of transparency, so you don't have access to the model's code or inner workings. This can also be critical because you never know what's inside this code. You have simply no clue how this model will respond. And lastly, you have bias risk. So you have potentially biased responses that are difficult to detect or correct. Some people say that these models are biased in the left direction. Some people say that they are biased in favor of the CEOs of the companies. You can have a lot of biases. Even the diffusion models can have a certain bias. There was a time in the Google models where it was not possible to create white people. These AI labs will do the best job to keep the bias minimal, or at least as minimal as it gets. But I do think they will still try to manipulate us in the right direction. If you use Google models, maybe they want to try to give you their perspective of the world. Just keep this in your head. They will still try to do a good job, but I do think it's really hard to do a good job. So these are basically the disadvantages of the closed source models. Now we talk about the advantages of the open source models. Of course, you have data privacy. No data leaves your local system, so you have no risk of sending data to third parties. Your data is completely safe, and I do think this is the biggest advantage of them all. You also have cost savings. No need for cloud services or API usage. As soon as these models run, they run. You just need to pay for the hardware, and if you already have the hardware, congratulations, you can work for free. You have customizability. You have full control and the ability to modify as needed. If we talk about diffusion models, you can even fine-tune some LoRa's, train your own face in it, and make the models behave however you want. You can do basically the same thing with LLMs. You can fine-tune these LLMs, you can use unbiased models, like the Dolphin models, and a lot more. You have offline availability. It works without an internet connection, and this is also really great. Let's just assume you don't have any internet, you have still some intelligence on your machine. So your company can still work with AI if it works locally. And of course you can also work personally offline. And always with 100% data security. You can upload pictures from you, from your dog, from your face, from your child even. You can upload whatever you want. Sensitive data, client data, everything is completely safe because you are not connected and not dependent on the internet. Then you also have speed. You have no network latency. You have consistent performance regardless of server load or maintenance. If these models run, and they run consistently. You can make your updates yourself whenever you want. It doesn't matter if the internet is offline or if the providers try to make or push an update somewhere. The servers will never be full because it's all on your machine. You are also extremely flexible. Easy integration and adoption to specific applications and workflows. You have full flexibility, you can do whatever you want with these models. You have also long-term control, this is also gigantic. You are not dependent on external providers. Like I told you, let's just assume that Anthropic goes bankrupt, whatever, the models are gone, and you are stuck with nothing. If you run something on your own hardware, nobody can ever take these models from you. They will run forever. And you have no corporate bias. Of course, large companies don't decide what's politically correct or influence your model's output. So we have a lot of advantages of open source models, but not everything is green. I still want to give you the disadvantages of local AI. The disadvantages of local AI are also on the hand. You have high hardware requirements. You need a lot of GPU, you need some RAM, you need some storage, and of course you also have power costs. As soon as this model run, they will take a little bit of energy. You have limited model quality. Eventually, yes, we have also really great open source models, but still they are not always state of the art. They are closed and they will still try to close the gap, but you are not always state of the art. These models are most of the time smaller, slower, or less accurate than cloud state of the art models. Especially if you are limited with your hardware and you can only run smaller models, then you are not state of the art. We need to tell the truth here. It's sometimes complex to set up and maintain these models. You need to have some drivers, you need to make updates, sometimes you have incompatibilities, maybe you try to use a Flux model on the Mac and you have some problems from time to time. You have a little bit of work to do, especially at the get-go. As soon as these models run, they run, like I told you, but the setup can be a little bit of a pain. No easy scalability. If you want to have multi-user setup, they can be difficult because you have no elastic scaling. If you use an API, you can make as many API calls as you want. And if you are on your own servers, yeah, they can get full. Then of course you have fewer integrations and support options. Cloud APIs are usually plug and play. And you even get enterprise level support if something is missing. Of course, if you do this all on your own, on your local machine, you will not get support from anybody. Long story short, we have a lot of advantages but also some disadvantage. In my mind, the biggest advantage is that you are private. You can work with private data or secrets and nobody will train on this stuff. Nobody can take these models from you. They are not biased, you can see what's going on, you can fine-tune them, you have a lot of flexibility, and they are basically for free. These are all the advantages, and I do think the advantages are gigantic. And the disadvantages, of course, you need some hardware to run these models, maybe you are not completely state-of-the-art, and sometimes it can be a hassle, but as soon as it's set up, you can work offline. So I strongly think that you should work a little bit with local AI. And I'll see you, of course, in the next video where we talk about hardware, what you really need in order to run these models.
Привет! Данный курс скачан с сайта SuperSliv.biz. На сайт ежедневно добавляются топовые материалы от крутых авторов и лучших онлайн-школ. Если вы житель России, то на сайт можно попасть, если включить VPN. Если все же вы не знаете, что такое VPN, или не хотите его использовать в работе, то на сайт можно попасть через актуальную ссылку. Она находится по адресу SuperSliv.co. Итак, резюмируем. Жителям России обязательно включать VPN для доступа к SuperSliv.biz. А те, кто не умеет или не знает, что такое VPN, используйте актуальное зеркало SuperSliv.co. Заходите на сайт удобным для вас способом и получайте крутой контент ежедневно.